So, as a black woman living here in the UK, one question has really been on my mind these past few months, which is how has BLM made my life better? How have they improved the conditions of black people in this country? And the first thing I'm going to say, just to make this quite clear, the living conditions of black people in this country as a whole is not bad compared to the living conditions of black people in black majority countries, places in Africa and so on. The living conditions of black people in this country is not bad. And it's not as bad as they have said and protested and shouted that it is. Let's take police brutality, which is one of the first things that they brought forward. They advised that disproportionately black people are mistreated by the police. But one thing that they have failed to highlight is that more black people, especially more young black boys, are having more encounters with the police. Now, that statement is where we need to focus on. Now, they claim that it's a systematic thing, it's a racism thing. But my problem is, where are the fathers, where are the parents of these young black boys? Because studies have shown that more and more black children are growing up in an unstable home. Not necessarily to talk about fathers, we're talking about stability in the home. Now, no matter what anyone wants to argue, a stable home is a foundation. Like a house, when you build a house, you need a strong foundation. You need certain elements in that foundation to make it strong so that the house can hold up. This is what a stable home represents. Because when it's a single parent household, there's more economic, emotional, societal pressure on that single parent, whether it be a man or a woman. There is that pressure and stress that they can't share with another. And obviously that stress, that pressure is directly or indirectly placed on the child, which affects their school, which affects how they see life, which affects how they see authority. The reason many young people, I'm focusing on the black community, so I'll keep my focus on that. Many young black boys, the reason why they have a problem with police is because they don't know how to relate to authority. Many of them have grown up without authority, a proper authority in the house. Now, if they grew up without having that closeness and appreciation for authority, what is the police to them? They don't owe the police anything. They feel like life owes them a lot, So is that old saying of hurting people? They do hurtful things mostly to themselves. That's why they have this aggression. That's why they have this attitude when it comes to dealing with the police. It's in the music. It's in the music. How many times have we heard this? Young boys, they kill someone, they murder someone, they stab someone, and then they doing a music video about it. They're singing lyrics about it, or rapping lyrics. We can remember the case of the musician's cousin, Bradley from S Club 7, his cousin who was stabbed to death by, I think his name was Vasilius or Fogeli. What did the killer do? He rapped about it, talking about the jury's reaction when he chefed four in a day. Do you know what drill music is? Drill music is defined by having dark, nihilistic content and lyrics. Nihilistic is a person who finds no meaning in life. They deny all religious, moral ethics. This is the base of drill music. So boys who find that there's no meaning, rap about it. pumping poisonous lyrics to other young people. The cycle has to stop. The only thing BLM has done is to remove self-accountability and make a lot of excuses for the Black community. There is racism in this world. There is racism against Blacks, but there is racism that Blacks do themselves. Does that excuse the racism Blacks face? No. And they've highlighted, that Black people face a lot of discrimination because of their colour. We've heard and we're hearing about this term white privilege, but they failed to mention the amount of abuse, hostility and attacks, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, socially, that white people have been experiencing these last few months. And all they have done is exempt Black people for being able to be racist. That's the word. There's no such thing as reverse racism. It's racism. Such as there's no such thing as reverse murder. It's murder. So the whole idea of BLM to me is a blame game. It's finding fault in external things when we need to be looking within the culture. So when we stop looking at all the external things that's against the Black community and start looking within and addressing the issues, you have to understand something. We are not denying or lessening racism. We are not denying any other discriminatory things that Black people face. But what we are saying is that it has been overgeneralized and it has been used in ways that's untrue. It has been used in ways that is untrue. Let me also say something. Black Lives Matter. Everyone agrees with the intention and the sentiment behind it. But the institution and what they stand for, going back, I talked about stable homes, and we all know that one of their goals, even though now it's removed, was to dismantle. It's all about dismantling, isn't it? That's what I found is, dismantle the police, dismantle the Western prescribed nuclear family. What does that tell me? They're all for dismantling and destruction. Where is the building? Where is the inner self-accountability? They're saying that blacks cannot be successful in this country and yet deny the hundreds of thousands of Black people who are successful in this country and hold high esteems of power. They forget that when they talk about institutional racism. They forget that. They forget that we are already in places of authority and power. And one last thing that they fail to realize, or they fail to disclose and highlight, is that Black lives seem to matter a lot more at certain times of election cycles. So we need to ask ourselves if Black lives really matter or if it matters for certain political reasons. Once we ask these kind of questions, then we'll be able to see things a little bit different, and we'll be able to see how far and how much accomplished we as a Black community actually are in this country. And like I said, if we think otherwise, we need to visit some places in this world where our own people are treated horrifically by our own people. Let's change the narrative.